Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week. And in each video, we stop halfway through for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. So we've spun it off. We're up to 98. Crazy, 98. Right? How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out with Zach and I holding coffees. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I'm such a big fan and love your show. Thank you. Best couple. My question is, we are looking to buy a used car. Prices seem to be very high. Would you buy a 2016 Honda Accord V6 Touring Sedan with 93,000 kilometers for $24,000 or a 2011 Toyota Camry LE sedan with 80,000 kilometers for $13,000? Prices are before taxes. I'm from Toronto.
Those seem high. Like that's an 11-year-old Honda Accord for $20,000?
2016 for $24,000.
Oh, sorry, 2016. I was thinking of the Camry.
And it has 93,000 kilometers. The other one, the Camry, which is a 2011, only has 80,000 kilometers for $13,000. And they're charging more, obviously, because it's low K. It's a 2011.
I wouldn't go. Listen, personally, you've got two cars. Like, first of all, the Accord is a V6. It's going to use more gas. It's going to hit 100,000 kilometers soon. And when you do that, there's a psychological barrier. It automatically drops. Yeah. I think the Accord's overpriced. I don't know. Honestly, if you're going to spend $20,000 on an Accord, you can spend a few $1,000s more and get a brand new car.
Yeah, in the...
Like an Elantra.
I was going to say Elantra, Sentra, in a class below. Mm-hmm. I think,
but the interesting thing is they've all gotten bigger in the last 10 years.
That's it. They've gotten bigger. So maybe look in the subcompact class.
Compact
class.
Yes.
If you're going to pay $24,000 for a 2016 Honda Accord, you're going to be able to get the Hyundai Elantra, Kia Forte, Nissan Sentra. The Kia Forte, which is being discontinued after 2024, you might even be able to get a deal on it.
Yeah, J.D. Power just came out with their initial quality. This is first 90 days, but it's a little snapshot of how the car is doing, and it was the winner in its category for compact. I just think if you're going to spend 20 grand on a car that from 2016 that's going to soon have 100,000 miles on it, that's throwing good money after bad. Plus the other thing, you buy one of these cars, they're only slightly smaller, they're going to be way more fuel efficient, and with the Kia, you're going to have a 5-year warranty.
Yes, or look for a used vehicle like maybe a Toyota Corolla
or a Honda Civic.
Honda Civic that's only a couple years old, that's lower in kilometers.
Yeah.
You will do better doing that than you will buying these two.
That's what I think. I just think that, even a Honda Civic has gotten so much bigger.
So much bigger.
And probably interior volume would be close to the Accord. It's probably not as wide, but it's definitely not going to be a big drop down. Now, you have to maybe decide whether you want a V6 or a 4-cylinder, but I don't know. I think there's some better deals out there.
Well, you'll get better fuel economy. What about, I know that Volkswagen doesn't have great reliability, but the Volkswagen Jetta is priced so well.
Brand new. Get a
brand new. 40% of EV owners said in a recent poll that they would eventually go back to ICE cars. Do you believe this survey will impact the manufacture of electric vehicles in the future?
Well, one thing you got to know about electric vehicles is that it's a worldwide market, right? So sure, maybe in the United States, it's 40% of people are considering their next vehicle. So the study basically was the 40% are considering their next vehicle would not be EV. It would be internal combustion, hybrid, or plug-in. But in other markets, it's less. So, for example, like Volkswagen is selling the ID4 in North America, but they also sell it other places.
Yeah, globally it's 29% and 40% in the US, 49% in Australia, so that they'd go back to a gas model. And they said that people have range anxiety. They're worried about charging infrastructure, whether it's at home or on the road, and these vehicles are too expensive. The survey did go on to say that consumers are interested in electric vehicles, but once they start doing the research, they find that they're just too costly and they're just not as practical as gas models.
So piling onto that, there was a study also came out that hybrid and plug-in hybrid sales have absolutely skyrocketed in the last couple of quarters, and it all came down to price. You know, you can get a hybrid car that isn't that expensive. In the United States, it was around $30,000. Like you can get a Corolla, for example. And then they said, you know, most EVs are 57,000 plus.
Yeah.
So people are voting with their wallet. I would suspect that the 40% in the US are switching away from EVs, probably because gas prices are cheaper in many parts of the US. Not on the coasts, but definitely in the middle of the country. In Canada, I think it would be lower because our fuel prices are so high. People want an EV because they want to save on gas.
That's right. I've got a question for all of you. I'd be curious to hear what your answer is. If there were no tax credits in the US and there were no EV rebates in provinces or from the federal government, would you still be interested in an electric vehicle?
Well, you see in...
Type below.
I'll just tell you anecdotal evidence, or not anecdotal, statistical evidence. EV sales in Germany have cratered since they stopped funding rebates. And that's a big industry. Maybe their number one industry in Germany is the car industry.
And the province of Quebec is going to be eliminating their provincial rebates, yes, over time.
No, as of Jan 1.
Jan 1, but not completely eliminating.
Really?
Yes, it's staggered.
Okay. I thought it was Jan 1. They're all gone.
No, not all gone, just staggered. For plug-in hybrids as well as electric vehicles in BC, the provincial government just recently changed the category that these vehicles are falling into, SUVs in particular, and they've put them in the sedan category, and now they have to be priced under $50,000 to qualify. And the reason why the BC government did that is because they want EV rebates to go to people who need them. Not people who can spend $80,000 on an electric vehicle.
It sounds like a broken record. Sounds like me. I'm trying to remember what I called it. It was a great name. The regressive rebate, something like that. So the biggest rebate would be on the cheapest car. So say, okay, if you can come in with an electric car that's $40,000 and under, you get $5,000.
That's right.
Then at 45, it drops to 4.
Yes.
Then at 50, it drops to 3, and so on until the rebate is gone. So the biggest rebate is for the people who can just barely afford that car. That makes sense. Yeah. We don't need back to Andrea. We don't need people swanning around in $80,000 cars getting our tax money. It's all going to come to an end eventually.
I know. And also this survey said that people find that many electric vehicles are too big for them. They want a smaller electric vehicle, which I thought was interesting. Chevy with the Bolt, I do see a lot of Bolts on the road here.
It's coming back.
I think it's a really great price point. Anyway, there you have it. Will it affect the market? I think that all these surveys have an impact on the market for sure, but people who want an electric vehicle are buying an electric vehicle. I'm just curious about if there were no tax credits or there were no EV rebates available, would everyone still be very interested? Obviously, it's not just about gas savings, it's also about emissions and doing more for the environment. We fully understand all of that. Hey guys, love your show. Thank you. A definite must watch for me now. What are your thoughts of owning a classic car? Not an exotic one, but one that's quite reliable, say an old Nissan or Honda maybe.
Why not? Go for it.
Yeah.
The great thing about buying an older Japanese import is that, you know, you can find them depending on your price in varying conditions. So if you don't have a big budget, you might find one that's maybe needing a little bit of work, and one that's pristine you're going to pay top dollar for. Like there's lots of, well, one is the Miata. You can go all the way back to 1989, and depending on your budget, find one that's in great shape, one that maybe isn't.
My goodness, we see so many Miatas on the road. I don't know if it's because we have one and I'm noticing it more, but that green color with the tan interior, so beautiful. You know which one I really like? The Nissan 240Z or Z.
Those are extortionately expensive if they're in great shape.
1969 it was introduced in Japan, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I think they called it The Fair Lady or something?
Yeah, the Fair Lady, in Japan, a domestic market. Yeah, well, that is an absolute classic. And if you have one of those that's in great shape, they're worth a bomb. I thought you were going to say this, Andrew. Listen to this. I was going to say this car. This is a 90s car.
Yes.
So maybe that's what he's thinking, is maybe something still kind of reliable. A Nissan 240 SX.
Yes.
That was a really nice car. I love
Really
that car.
nice.
It was even available for a short time as a convertible. The Nissan 240 SX. What about, Andrea? One of our favorites, a 90s Prelude.
Ooh, gosh, I see that. Or what about an Integra?
Yeah.
How about an Integra?
Or you could go for, now we got to
Ooh,
say
I
it
love
both.
the Prelude.
Got to go say it both ways, north and south of the border. What about a Toyota? We'll do it Canada first. Toyota Celica.
Yeah.
Or a Toyota Celica.
Celica.
But I'm
Either or.
actually
Those are good ones.
240 SX and a Prelude would be in my. The only thing about the SX, it was rear wheel drive, so that's more of an evolution. That was almost like one of those Z cars.
My neighbor had a Prelude, and it was just so cool back in the day. I would get a Prelude or I'd get an Integra. Those are great. Hi guys, love the show. Thank you. My husband and I watch every episode. I've recently been interested in Buick. Love their new styling and reliability scores. Any idea of when the new Envision is going to be available in the States? It's delayed.
It is delayed, and we were hoping to get it for our trip to Newfoundland, and it wasn't available. But we heard from PR that it's August, so they're going to have an event for. Oh, it was another vehicle. They're going to put them together. Oh, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, so it's going to be August.
August, yeah. That's
I can't wait to drive it too. We like the old one. The interesting thing is the old Envision's made in China. I'm not sure if the new one is as well. Some people have an issue with that.
Yeah.
And because it's not an EV, I don't think it's affected by the tariff situation. But anyway,
No.
the interesting thing is that, a lot of people dump on the Chinese EVs. We don't want them coming in because they're going to undercut the North American market.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that the cars that come from China often have higher quality. Like the Tesla Model Y that we get in Canada apparently has better quality than the one that's made in California.
Yeah.
And the Envision has tremendously good quality scores.
Really great. And one thing I liked about the previous model Envision is just how smooth and comfortable it was. Steering is light. I'm sure that they will tune it very similar to the old model. And I get why people like it. I mean, Buicks, for sure, you are right. They have come a long way. Hi guys, first of all, thanks for always posting amazing content. Thank you. Thinking of buying a 2022 Subaru Legacy top trim with 30,000 kilometers on it through the Subaru dealership. Would that be a good option? The Legacy is not a popular choice,
No.
so I think that, make sure that you get a good deal on it. Don't pay top dollar for a Legacy.
Yeah, if there's not a long list of people wanting them new, and there certainly isn't a long list of people wanting them used. So yeah, get the dealer to sharpen his or her pencil on that one.
Sure.
So if you're looking for an all-wheel drive sedan, that one comes standard, which is one of the major reasons why you might want it. What year was it? 22?
2022.
Yeah, so that has the new bigger infotainment screen, which is nice.
Yeah.
The other one you might want to consider as an alternative would be the Nissan Altima. It too now comes with standard all-wheel drive, and it has for the last several years. So if that's your main thing, it's all the all-wheel drive, you can do that. And Camry is available in all-wheel drive too.
Yeah, new Camry looks really good.
Or if you're
Sounds
looking
like you
for a
want to get a
used one.
used one.
Yeah, you can get a used
So
one.
reliability scores for the Legacy, JD Power gives it a good score, 78 out of 100. Consumer Reports, 60 out of 100. But don't panic on that Consumer Reports number because it's actually in second place, the Legacy for reliability. The Camry takes top spot at 93 out of 100.
Well,
but all
that's-
the others are lower than the Legacy.
Well, that's amazing how high the Camry is. So yeah, if that's your MO, the other thing is probably what's happening is that it is cheaper than the others because the Legacy is a bit of a
For sure.
forgotten stepchild in the mid-size sedan space. But if you can get a screaming deal on it, why not?
Get a deal.
You-
Do not pay top dollar
You won't
for
see
it.
you won't see another one on the road.
No, you'll be very unique.
Yeah.
Hello, Andrea and Zach. Congrats on nearing the 100 mark. I know. Questions, Coffee and Cars, 100th episode from Newfoundland. Do you
And
think...
so wait, before we go on, Andrea,
Yeah.
did you, yeah, it's kind of you. What are we doing for that? Are we kind of ask us anything?
We're
Or are we
going to do
just
that.
or are we doing cars?
No, I think we're going to say, ask us anything, anything that you want. And we'll do it from Newfoundland.
Doesn't mean
I'll
you're
be
gonna
posting this Sunday on Instagram.
Doesn't mean we're going to answer everything. If you ask things that we don't find appropriate, we will not answer that.
Then we won't. But think about it if there's anything that you're interested in hearing about us.
Back to the question.
Do you think mainstream cars are closing the gap on luxury cars in terms of what they offer, tech, quality, refinement? Or do you think luxury brands are innovating quickly enough to keep a clear gap? I feel like drivetrains are the only differentiating areas still, since many mainstream cars have features standard that are optional on luxury brands. I would agree when it comes to technology and features. These non-luxury brands have a lot, even massaging seats are there. But you know what it is? It's the quietness of the cabin, and it's the way that they handle that luxury vehicles offer something else.
Some of them, some not so much, but yes, that's kind of like if you're thinking of German sort of style vehicles,
Yeah.
often it's the handling, it's the quietness, and a big part of it is badge and prestige and history. And you can just look at a brand like Genesis, and their cars, dollar for dollar, feature for feature, as good as pretty much anybody else's, but they just don't have the brand appeal,
No.
right? So are people willing to go and get a Genesis over a Mercedes or a BMW? Some will, but some will just say no, because the heritage of the brand is what luxury marques promote, right? You see, brands like Porsche, they promote the badge all the time around prestige, the prestige product.
Also, Genesis doesn't work for everyone if you don't have a dealership in your area and you've got too far to go. Sure, the brand will definitely get bigger over time and they'll open up more dealerships. Some people are frustrated because although Genesis is really working on this, that they have to go to a Hyundai dealership and it just loses that kind
cachet.
of brand appeal. Lexus as well. What I'm finding with Lexus is that in some of their vehicles, there's a bit of a crossover between Toyota and Lexus interior quality. And I think that Lexus needs to do a better job of using more upscale materials that are all their own versus some Toyota materials.
Look at two brands that were introduced at the same time in the late 80s, 89, I believe it was. Lexus and Infiniti both arrived on the scene.
Yeah.
One, the luxury marque for Toyota, the other one for Nissan. And Toyota has continued to progress and innovate and bring new markets to bear. And Infiniti has kind of let the brand sit and rot on the vine for far too long. Now, which one has more appeal? Lexus definitely has more appeal than Infiniti. So badge appeal, reputation, history play a huge part in what makes a luxury vehicle.
For sure. Hi, my favorite car reviewers. Thank you. Has Mazda ever discussed with you all on why their SUVs always have a rough ride quality compared to peers? I have had the CX-5 in the past and hear similar reviews on CX-90 and CX-70 now.
It's funny because, you know what, we're with them all the time, but we never really ask why. Dave Coleman is the chassis guy. He's the engineer for Mazda. Would be a great guy to ask why they have such firm suspensions.
Well, I did talk to them about it.
Did you?
I was actually sitting next to the product planner with the CX-70 over dinner. And
So I was at the other end of the table. That's why I didn't know this conversation happened.
I was talking his ear off, and we did talk about firmer suspensions. And I think that, from what I understand from the conversation, is they want the ride to be engaging and fun and lively. And while that doesn't work for everyone, there are so many other brands on the market that take care of that smooth and comfortable ride, where some may think are kind of boring.
So they stand out, is what you're saying.
They stand out and they want to be different from the others. Since Dodge is invested in turbo Hurricane engines and electrification, what do you think about the future of Zach's beloved Durango?
Well, it's a very old product in the Dodge, Chrysler, Stellantis world.
it is.
So that was introduced on the same platform as the Grand Cherokee in 2009. Grand Cherokee has moved to an updated, modified new platform, and the Durango is still held over from that. One of the reasons why I love it, it's a Mercedes-Benz platform that they got from the Daimler days, and it has proven engine. They got rid of the Hemi, unfortunately, for those who want to tow, but the 3.6 Pentastar has been great. I have no idea what they're going to do with it. It's probably a downsized engine of some kind. I would bet it's going to be on a new platform,
Yeah,
too.
there's so many rumors out there. They're saying that the Dodge Stealth, which is, a name that was used in the past, but it's actually going to be a 3-row SUV. And the rumors are that it's going to be based on possibly the Grand Cherokee L platform, or maybe the Stellantis large vehicle platform, which is for electrification, whether it's EVs, that also covers hybrids in that. So there's a lot to come, but those are the rumors about the Dodge Durango.
I would bet it's going to morph onto the Grand
That's what I think.
Cherokee platform. It makes sense. It was based on the same platform before, so they'll probably just rebadge that as a Dodge.
Yeah.
But it won't be the same. The one that's currently sold, I love driving it. I think it looks good and it handles well. It's probably
reliable.
It's one of the best handling midsize SUVs and has proven to be incredibly reliable.
Yeah.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Dodge haters, the good old Durango punches above its weight.
And super comfortable on road trips.
All right,
Let
we're all
us
out of
tell you
time.
that.
Andrea, how do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we have them, the post is deleted and we start the show. Thanks for watching.
Talk to you then.
Yeah.